Welcome back to another episode of Rusted Up Garage. In this special video that we're gonna call the Carnage video, we are going to be pulling the engine back out of the 55. So if you followed along on Hot Rod Power Tour, you knew that we dropped a valve in this motor, and we run it about 100 miles with drop valve. So Zach and I had done some talking and thinking, and instead of just trying to pull the head off in the car, we decided that, a couple more hours and we can have the motor out, and then it'll give us a chance to look at it. We might even pull the pan off and just lay our peepers, because it does have really low oil pressure at idle, like 10 pounds, but it runs 50 pounds when you're going down the road. So might be something we look at. Along with, it'll give us a chance. We know we're going to end up pulling the other head off probably. Just, it might be easier to just change all the springs if we just pull the heads. So not that we really want to, but that's our plan. So if you haven't yet, please like and subscribe the video. It costs you $0 to do that. It just helps us build up people watching, and eventually we want to hit 1,000 people, and then maybe we can make like 1 cent per 100 videos that people watch. That'd be pretty handy, because for some reason every time we take this car out we break it. So any help we get in that department, it'd be pretty handy. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna pull the hood off from it, and then we're gonna have to go up underneath the car, drain the antifreeze out of it, pull the transmission back out of it, exhaust, get all that stuff cleaned out, and then come up here, pop radiator out, move the AC over so we don't have to disconnect that, and pull the alternator, a few hoses, wires, and she should just come right out. It shouldn't be bad. We should have it out today. I'm trying to think what else we want to do. Oh yeah, the other thing we want to do too, so before we take it apart, so this may take a few extra minutes, we wanted to scale it, but technically that can wait until we put it back together, unless we just want to scale it.
We can scale it now.
And then the other thing we want to do too is we want to check the drive shaft angle.
Yes, we do want to check that.
Because we think it's off.
Yeah.
Because at like 70 it has this harmonics in it that's kind of weird. It shouldn't. So I think first thing we're going to do is do those two items. Okay, so she is up on the blocks, so we can set up the scales next. But what we're going to do is we're going to do the driveline angle real quick first. Then we're going to set it down and pull some of the stuff out of the back, and so we can get a true representation of just the car. So Tremec does have an app for this, and it's really cool. What I'm going to do is actually we're going to insert the app here, and it'll be a whole lot easier to see, because Zach can just do like a little screen recording, and we can show you what we're doing. Okay, take two. Okay, so Zach's recording this. So the Tremec app, what you're going to see right here, is you're going to do driveline angle finder right here, and it's going to say using the smartphone, measure the device, the app will calculate all this good stuff. Okay, this app is not designed to measure the compound angles resulting from horizontal blah 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 blah. Okay, so hit next, and then it says see diagram, which you're not going to see right now. Use the flat edge of your smartphone and make sure the surfaces are clear of any destructions, which this one kind of doesn't, but we're going to go with it.
It's fairly flat.
So place smartphone on a parallel or perpendicular to engine. So we're going to go with it right here, because I think that may be our best spot. And we hit set.
Yes.
Okay.
Now we're going to move to the...
It says place your smartphone device on something else. Actually, it's drive shaft. Okay. Set. Okay. And then last but not least, it says to do your pinion angle, which
we can just go off of...
I think we're going to go off from here, because we think that's close.
It's close enough to...
Hold on a minute. Before we do this, give me 1 second.
It's bad.
Okay, so now we're going to do pinion angle. We're going to go with this right here.
For illustration purposes.
For illustration purposes. It's set. So now It says, sorry, it appears that one or more of your somethings are
Basically
off.
bad. Correct.
So 2.3, 7.0, and 4.6 is what it just did. So in order to fix this, we need to roll the pinion up by like 2.5 degrees, 3 degrees. So that would be part of our vibration. So we knew it was off. You can see it that it's off. And I think it has something to do with the fact that the springs in the back have finally compressed to where they need to be. So we're gonna cut some shims. We'll cut some taper shims. And we'll loosen up this and we'll roll the rear end up to help with that. And that should take the vibration out of the rear end assembly. So, like I said, Tremec app, you see it, you just watched how we did it. It's really cool, very simple, and it'll kind of give you an idea where you're at. So we know we gotta fix that. Check. And now we're going to set up the scales. We'll bring you back when we roll it across the scales. Okay, Zach. You see you got the long ears is all hooked up. So let's see what she is for weight. Let me, what do you hold?
You're gonna have to pull the old emergency of brakes.
Okay, so here is where the car sits. Almost 4,100 pounds. The front, I mean, the front's almost perfect across the front. There's not much difference there. The rear is almost perfect. Not that anything else matters, but yeah. Well, that's cool. That's interesting to know. So, if you ever wondered what the car weighs, that's what ours weighs. So that means our trailer's right around 1,000 pounds, right?
Yeah, because the trailer on the cat scale weighed 5,000. So, yeah. So, if you own a 55 four-door with a 4L6D and a Ford 9-inch, it basically weighs 4,100 pounds.
Yep. So, that's cool information to have. So, now we've done driveline angle. So we have all that marked. So we will get back to that, to where we need to change it. And now we're gonna get ready for all the rest of it, pull the hood and stuff. So let us get reset, get all this stuff cleaned up, and then we'll be getting her apart. Sound good? Sounds good to me. Okay, guys, we just pulled the hood off. I didn't record that because it's pulling the hood off. And we did pull the transmission out from under it already. The transmission's over there on the transmission jack. I didn't record that either. Why didn't I record? Just go back like 4 or 5 videos. We did the transmission like 1,638 times. So, but we are gonna get ready and pull the top parts. So we're gonna get the radiator out of here, the fans out of here, the AC, the alternator, the fuel injection, all that stuff needs to come out. So we'll bring you along for the journey. If you don't mind holding our wrenches for us, that would be phenomenal, because we lose them a lot.
around the alternator. It's literally around the fucking alternator. Game all up. I heard it popping something. I couldn't see what it was though. Just go up and I can. Oh, you're gonna hit the fan. You go out. Huh? I think you're following on. Yeah. Okay. You can go back a little bit more. Now down. Down. And out. You can set it down, I guess, now. Kind of. Well, not bad. We haven't even been home for 24 hours. The motor's already sitting on an engine stand. I'd say that's pretty good, don't you think, Zach? Yeah. Except for the fact that the motor's sitting on an engine stand. That's probably not the good thing.
No.
So, in the car, it was really hard probably to see all this. And, but as you can see, it, when it broke the spring, all the parts came out, and then the piston drove the...
Your finger. Move your finger.
Sorry. The piston actually drove the valve back up, and this must have been down at the same time, and it literally drove this into the valve. You can see how far the valve's forward, but it actually broke, so you can see the head's all broke right here. That's the...
Yes, they can see when your finger's not in there.
Yeah, where the head's broke. So I don't know what I don't know what it looks like inside. I'm not sure what it looks like inside, but we'll be looking here pretty soon. See just kind of what it looks like. So I'm really interested to know how bad it is. Fun is. But that'll give us a chance to, we're just going to bring it to the engine shop and blow it all apart there. I'm going to leave it together until then. And so next will be, you'll see us at the engine shop and be unbolting this engine, seeing what we need to fix it. Okay guys, as promised, here we are, machine shop. Oh, you're fine. It's machine shop noises. But we are here. The main man has looked at it, and he told us to pull the intake, pull the head, and let's see how bad the Carnage is. Now, Zach forgot the little stand. You know, we headed here after work, and so if it's a little shaky, it's because Zach forgot the stand. So, but we're gonna pull off. Don't we have like an impact gun somewhere? Honestly, you know what the worst part about this is, Zach? The cleanup I gotta do. That's kind of crazy. That's it may actually be good still. So you can, I don't know if you can see it or not, but you can see that that's where it actually caught the retainer, right here. But it don't look bad.
As long as it's straight.
I mean, look how bent that is. See how it broke? That whole guide? It's crazy.
Oh, you spent all your luck.
All my luck, huh? Whackety whack. Don't talk back. And now, let's look. Well, I guess now what we need to do is we gotta get him out of there. And get him out of here, get this wiped up a little bit. But I think we're gonna be good. I'm gonna wash that up real good. So if you guys give us a few minutes, we're gonna get the stuff cleaned up. And we'll let you see what we found.
That ought to drive out of there.
Well, we ain't gonna use that guide again. So
Well, I
I ain't worried
bent the
about
valve all the best I
Oh,
could.
yeah.
Yeah, you straighten the valve all back out.
That's good.
Typically, we don't like to drag a valve through the guide.
Right.
We're not gonna use that guide again.
Yeah, because all this is broke, right? So all that gets cut out.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so that's not a big deal then when you see that. See, that was my concern. I saw all that cracked and broke, the valve laid over. I'm like, that's got to be bad.
Yeah, that mound will kind of be gone, but the new guide will replace it.
Okay.
Consider that the outside of the guide.
Okay.
And something they got going on.
It doesn't have a point.
It's barely bad.
It's like two directional. Well, we took the cover off, and look where the lifter's sitting. So basically, I've used all my luck for the year at this point, I feel. It popped out. I mean, but it looks fine. It never got dung up at all. That's crazy. What size is that? 7/8, do you remember?
Oh, yes.
Okay, so we'll be back in a minute. We're not done quite cleaning up some stuff, but I just wanted to show you the lifter. We got obviously this side off, and yeah, luck. That was some luck right there. Okay, guys. So where did we leave last? Obviously, you know, we got our collection of good parts here. The valve. This thing is, you know, it's barely bent. Barely. You can hardly even tell that's bent, but it is. So we should be able to reuse on that. You saw everything else, so we've checked everything. Everything looks good. I have a new guide coming for it and a new valve coming for it. And then we went through and we actually got a new set of springs already here. He had a set in stock. So we're actually going to change the springs. We're going to a comp cam spring. I think that's what he told me. I can't remember the number.
Right.
But he did all the magicals and seat pressures and install heights and all that. And he happened to have a set right here. So with it, a little dampener in it too. So that'll actually help. So that's cool. He had them here, so that saves me having to order those. I'll just buy them off him. And then piston's not hurt. And then, so we're really, I can get these parts hopefully this week. We can, next week, have this all back together. Repaint it. And
It depends. See,
then I guess we'll put it right back in, huh? We'll have this thing going no time. Maybe.
You can use it.
With any luck. So, but yeah, pretty excited. Like I said, I definitely used all 9 lives up on this one, for sure. With but good old Oldsmobiles. Well, we'll come back to you either, I don't even know. It probably won't be to the end of the week or the weekend when I get all the parts. Probably bring you along when we change out some of these, the guide and stuff. Get all this repaired, and then we'll put the engine back together and set it in. So, here we go, guys. Catch you later. Hey, guys. Guess what? Yeah. 500 or 600, 800 weeks later, we finally got the part. Look, right there. Right here. Valve guide. Although we'd already figured out what it used, and we'd already bought another one and figured out the valve because we got sick of waiting. But that's all right. We'll keep this as a spare. I hope we don't break another one, but if we do, I won't have to wait 5 weeks because we'll know exactly what we need. So the other thing too is we got to change out these springs because we have no idea anything about these springs. They may be good ones, they may be bad ones, they may be Chinese, they may be, they may be Japanese. We just don't know about these things. The only thing we do know about these things, they break. When they break, it causes catastrophic damage, and we don't want that to happen again. So we're going to do our best with, not doing that again, I guess. That's what I'm trying to say. So what I'm going to do here is I am going to pull out all the valves. So I've labeled this head DS. No, that's, well, according to Derek Weischer Garage, that's the, no, this ain't the drinker side. I don't know. I guess that don't work. I don't know where he got his manual from. So, but anyways, I'm gonna pull these apart, get these out, and then the other thing we're gonna do, this is gonna be a fun little project, is the problem with these heads, and you guys saw before my intake. Zach's gonna hate this video. He's gonna be so mad when he realizes I forgot the camera and I'm doing it on my iPhone. But someone's got to keep him. Here we go. Intake side. So if you look in there, you can't see because it's dark, but it won't be when I pull these two valves out. But these two exhaust valves have really big ports up to the center. And if you remember right, the crossover was all burnt real bad on the intake. This hole is huge to the valves. And it was actually burnt the gasket out. So we're starting to get an exhaust leak right here. Yeah, right there. And we don't want that. So I bought some clay in this little box here, and we're gonna do some pottery work later. And we're gonna fill it with some clay. And then what's told is we can melt up some pistons and we're gonna pour them in the hole. Like that. And it's gonna seal this sucker up so the crossover don't work no more. Now they make little caps, and I was gonna go that way, but the problem was I was a little concerned with is the seal, literally the gasket had burnt out on the bottom. So I was worried that with just the steel seal that it might still blow out, burn out that gasket. It's a huge hole. It's like monstrous going through here. Honestly, I think the crossover may be bigger than the exhaust port. Yeah, it's an Oldsmobile thing. But anyways, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to set up and I'm going to pop out these valves real quick. I did label them all to their corresponding holes. So once I pull them out, I'll just clean them up and we can pour the heads, and then I can just put them all back together with the new springs that we know didn't come from some foreign land. Like, I don't know, South Africa or something. I just don't know. But cool, guys. I'll bring you back in. I don't bring a tripod, so I'm actually going to have to do my best. That's it. Pretty much doing here is see how this right here is, I don't know, it's probably down an inch, Yeah, just past an inch or so. Packing it down through there. Now we can pull it out on the other side where the valves are at, and we're going to pour this. Now it's going to be captured because it's narrower down there, but it's longer. But up here it's fatter and rolls up. So even if it does break loose a little bit, it can't come out. It can't go down. So, and that'll be an inch of solid aluminum, which will be a lot better than just a plate here, trying to stop that exhaust. And it should slow her up some. I mean, it is a pretty big crossover. So hopefully. Okay, so here's our little unit here that we melted down some piston chunks. They're right there, yep. And then we poured them into the holes. Now we're just gonna take the grinder and clean it up real good. And when I put the gasket on, I'll probably still put that plate over it. And it should be good. So, all poured. Now I just gotta get them cleaned up and clean up the clay inside and then reassembly. So, that should stop most of it anyway. Okay, people. So, I got the other head assembled because there weren't nothing really exciting there except for putting the new springs on because, you know, we weren't going to trust the old springs. This head's going to get a little more love because we got to change out that seat right there. So here is the new seat, the new valve, okay? So I can tell you that this valve is a, I think, small block Chevy valve that's been cut. Is from what we can tell by the part numbers up here on the valve. So it's just a standard small block valve, cut, nothing too crazy. So the seats, when he changed those, he obviously made everything match for the seats to go in with this valve. Now here is the seat, which is actually an Oldsmobile. I mean, I'm sorry, guide, not seat, seat guide, seat guide. Is actually an Oldsmobile guide because we actually found that online. So we were able to get one because we were waiting on these parts forever. And then the other thing is, with some magical digicals of, you know, the old inserter here, we were able to measure off the old springs that were on the engine that broke. Well, one broke. And we're able to cross-reference it to these springs, which are actually a comp spring, and we're not going to use the inner part. See? It's that part. So the part number for these are actually right here. This is an old set he had. Look at that, 2016. We know these are definitely not COVID springs, so that's good. But this part number matches what he put in for these valves. So it may not match what you have, because if you're running stock Oldsmobile stuff, it's not going to match. But if you're doing some upgrades, you can have new seats put in, you can have Chevy valves cut, and this spring combination works. Now, when he did the old measuring of the pressures, the new springs have 10 more pounds of install pressure and, like, I don't know, 5 more pounds of full compress at the 540 lift on the cam. So they're virtually the same spring. What do we gain by these, though, is we gain this inner vibrator thing. So it may actually help with dampening the vibrations, because maybe a vibration got one of those. We don't know. We know nothing about these springs except for one broke, and we're not going to trust them. I weren't told what they were. I weren't told where they were from. I had the heads built. They're supposed to be good stuff, and they may be. I'm not disgrunting because the guy does phenomenal work. I'm just saying that these springs broke. I don't trust them. We're going to comp springs, and I'm just going to put it together myself. So sometimes just how it is. But so we got to get this guy out right here. The head is good. We just got to get him out and then get the new one in, and then get the valve to do its valvey thing, and then we can assemble this one, and then technically the engine can go back together in the car, and we may get to drive it again this year. That would be pretty phenomenal. So I'll show you once we get this thing starting to come out. I'll bring you guys back. We're good. Okay. So now we use this fancy tool right here and we'll give her the catch-up. There's the broken part, right there. That easy. If you look on this side, okay, nothing wrong with that head at all.
I got it.
Good. Good.
Well, it should be. There's a stop down there, but I want to make sure.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's good.
That's good.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd totally just set it straight on the bench.
Well, that's that easy. It's new.
It's brand new now. Take any more than what's necessary. And we're just about there. Okay.
That's literally just getting rid of them two little dark spots where it hit when it did its hitting.
You see, those are gone now.
Yep.
Okay. I think we're good.
Okay, here we have it. There's the driver's side head. That was the broken one. All back together. Nice new shiny valve. Everything's cleaned. Check, double check, triple check. It's got the new springs. So we should be good now. All I lack now is I got to get the block cleaned up, and we'll bolt these on. It shouldn't be too long now. We'll have this baby wrapped up and be putting it back in the car. So this turned out a whole lot better than what we anticipated. Okay, so the block is completely cleaned back up. Again, little you know, little scratches right here on this piston, but really no big deal. That's just, you know, battle scars. It's all good. Nothing wrong with any of this. We've looked at everything internally. Lifter's back in. Nothing wrong with the camshaft. All's good. Everything's clean. So yeah, at this point, I just got to grab some head gaskets, put the head gaskets on it, set the heads on it, and then bolt the heads down and work on getting the rest of the valve train down. It won't be too long now, and we'll be unfortunately having to put this back in, because I don't really want to put an engine back in that car, but hopefully this is the last time. So looking good though, looking good. Boom, there it is, head bag on it, just like that. Yeah, almost ready. So lifter's all back in, push rod, everything's aligned real nice, no problems. Of course, this side was no problems. And this is the side that took all the abuse, but I mean, nothing wrong with the alignment on that rocker. It didn't bend the shaft, didn't bend any of this, didn't even bend the push rod. So everything looks good. We've torqued everything down, and I don't know, at the end of the week I'll get by one evening and we'll finish buttoning up the top, and maybe with any luck this weekend we'll be dropping this bad boy back in the car. That would be pretty epic. But yeah, there she is. As you can see, no problems, no brokey. Everything is perfect. Now, I'm excited to get this thing back in the car and enjoy it. God, it's been since Power Tour. It's been over a month. I thought I would bring you in here before we bring this in here. Okay? So like 2 seconds ago, you were watching us. We were at the machine shop. I might have been putting the heads on because I really don't know where that footage lies. I've been filming this for over 2 months now, almost 2 months, okay? And I've been trying to keep track of it and putting it all in one video, from pulling the motor out to putting the motor in and fixing it. So if it feels weird in those jumps, I apologize, okay? I apologize. But the engine's home now, and we're gonna be hooking her up to old Forky in just like 2 minutes, and we're gonna be putting her back in her hole after 2 long months. Too long, okay? Few upgrades while we were at there. We did add some AN12 fittings on the heater hoses, because that seemed like the right thing to do, because they were leaking before. We put a new water pump in it, because the water pump was actually bad, you saw in the video. So we got that AC 8 main, Big Baron, unitanium water pump that I just happened to find one in the whole United States. Right there, okay? Don't ask me what it costs, because I refuse to tell you. Let's just say the Pro Billet distributor was cheaper, okay? The other upgrade, obviously, you've been watching along, you watched the video, you watched whatever we did, and maybe you didn't, but we converted a Pro Billet bullet. It's a struggle today. We put one of them there aluminum MSDs in here. Okay? With some slight modifications that we had to do with a file. Again, watch the video. Other than that, we didn't do much. You saw we poured the heads, we repainted on it, you know, so it's new. And other than that, it's the same motor. It's just got better springs in it, better distributor, better connectors, better water pump. Just, it's better, okay? Without further ado, I'm gonna get Forky over here, and we're gonna put you on the old tripod, and we're gonna, with Forky, and then I'll bring you back in as we're hooking stuff up. And I mean, you've seen a lot of this, so I'm really not gonna bore you for 25 minutes putting this all in. I'm not, because you've probably already watched 40 minutes of video to now, and now you don't want to watch 30 to 5 minutes of me putting the motor back in, which you've seen, and the transmission 850 times. Again, it's like 6 videos for that. Big video here is now we're gonna send it back in, we'll do a little fast forwarding, get it plumbed in. I'm gonna show you guys how the distributor stuff works, and then we're gonna fire it up. Finally, the 2 long months. I guess it could be worse. Could be worse. So, let's get at it, Zach. Okay, I know it may be a little bit loud in here, but as you can see, it went in just like it's supposed to. Everything looks good. The back does need to go down and needs to be just slid a little bit this way, but we're gonna go up underneath and move it around, get the front bolted, and I guess start messing around with the flywheel and getting the back bolted. So. As you can see by looking under here, the motor, the transmission, the exhaust, the drive shaft, well, they're all back in the car. So we finished everything underneath. Now, we didn't bring you with us because you have seen this. If not, go back and watch the series, because I mean, we have done this transmission 1,732 times. Okay, but I did want to show you one other thing, because remember we talked about the angle of the rear end. That was the big one. Now I didn't show you, we did it without showing you because it just happened that way. We put those blocks in. Remember I told you we had to pitch the rear end up, because it was not up, it was down, okay? So now we just use the old app. It's a Trimic app. It's from Trimic. And this ended up being our numbers. So that's angle 1, angle 2, and angle 3. So we are completely in the green, life is good. We should not have any drive shaft vibrations now that I thought I felt before. This should really smoothen out the whole driveline angle, the whole driveline itself running. So, because it definitely had a weird vibration, and it felt like it was the rear end. And it was because it was, you know, like this, the transmission was like this. We built a boat. Our boats are bad. So that's all done. We did change the gear fluid. Again, I don't need to bring you along for that. And I think that's it. We wiped down the wheels. Everything I think under the car's done. So I think we're going to lower it down, and maybe we'll put you on the tripod as we assemble the upper end, because you can actually see us do something up there. Our distributor series. If you all didn't watch our distributor series, you might want to go back and watch it here. Okay, the distributor series basically we took a Pro Bullet and made it work into a 55 volts 324. Watch the video. It's right there. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to go over the install of it, so you guys had kind of like a what did he do to make this all work. You know, I don't completely know how I made it work. It's supposed to work. We're about to find out, okay? We set the distributor. I bought this tape from MSD, so I'd know, you know, the lines on it. It made it easier. I glued it because the first one blew off, so I glued this one on. We put the engine at 50 before, okay? And then we set the distributor in with number one pointing towards number one with the stock cap, okay? Then we took the bottom piece here and we spun it until it lined up. The little magnet lined up with the little line, pretty much straight on, okay? Pretty close. It's pretty close according to Zach's eye. It's probably off by a lot, but we're gonna go with it's right. We'll know for sure, okay? And then we locked it down because that's right where we want it. When it hits that thing or somewhere in that general area, Zach thinks it's gonna work right there. We'll find out. Next, the distributor cap that goes on it.
That's the
First,
rotor.
that's what I mean. The cap's over there. The rotor that goes on it, that's stock, has the rotor pointed this way right here. Well, the problem is being locked down in the way we're running it, we need to be able to clock the rotor to the center of number 1 at, say, we did it at 25, okay? Because we know we're only gonna go about 10 or 12 each way. Really, that's all this motor is gonna need, give or take, you know, maybe up to 15. So to be sure, we did check it on 15 on each side of the 25 mark. Then I bought this extra special cap, okay? It's the regular cap with 2 holes I drilled in it, so that's what makes it extra special. And it seems like a waste, and it kinda is, because obviously I won't put my black cap on here for looks, but for this, I put this in, and then I loosened up on this guy here, and I turned the outer cap, this thing turns up here, and I aligned it perfectly center with number 1 at 25. And then we rolled the motor each direction to make sure that that still made contact with that. Okay, and it does. So this should get us real close within the car. Now the other thing too is when you can actually run it with this cap on it. You can fire it up with this cap on it, you can put your timing light on it, and you can actually shoot in there and look, and you see when the little spark is going, and you can see it if you're too far one way or another. But where this is not a big sweeping motor for timing, it's gonna be fine. So really the next step now is what we're gonna have to do once we fire it up and we do a static timing check. Because once we do the timing, if we say it's in at 50 and say Zach sets it to 30, okay? Or 20, it don't matter the number. He sets it, it's supposed to be at 20. We put the timing light on it and say it's 23 or it's 28 or it's 18. At that point, he can make an adjustment in the program to say, no, it's not, it's at 18. So now he has just matched what this thing is doing with what the engine's doing. And now when he programs it for more or less timing, the motor will respond to that because it knows where it's at. I don't know if any of this makes sense because it's kind of over my head, but from what I understand is that this way, okay, on this thing, he can basically make the spark come out, you know, here at 0 or make it come out at 50 by going like this without me having to come out here and give her the old which going down the road will help us with fuel economy. For startup, it'll help make it start easier because obviously we can adjust that timing. So that's a brief Ricky 101 timing lesson for what it's worth. And once we fire it up, we'll kind of do the static check and show you guys where it's at. But after that, this cap pretty much is on your shelf to the next motor. That's what it does. But that's how that all works. So now, on to getting the plug wires on it. Because when you see this motor next, it should be in the car because we recorded this out of sequence. And we're probably putting plugs on it or maybe even starting it when you see it. I don't know where this is going to fall in the video, but it's going to fall in the video somewhere. Finally, time to put this back on. Well, it's only been 2 months, but it's all back together. Now, for the important thing, is she gonna run? With the new distributor and all the changes, I guess, Zach, all it's left to do is try to start it, right?
Yeah.
Now, being fuel injected, I shouldn't be able to just go inside, right? Just bump the key from here.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed. We know it has fuel pressure, we tested that. Look at that. Except for a little bit of a squeaky belt. Oil pressure is 45 pounds. Sounds good. Well, Zach, I think now we're just gonna grab it outside and maybe test it real quick and put the hood on it. What do you think?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm gonna drive her outside. If I can get it out there through the forklift and everything else. Okay, guys, you can't blow the grin off my face. I mean, I just took it for just a little, just up and back. It runs better than what it did before. That timing control, oh my God. We should have done that originally. I don't know why I didn't, but I did. So, there she is. 2 months after we blew her up on Hot Rod Power Tour, she's back alive, back to running, and I guess we still got some summer left so we can get her to some car shows. So all we lack now is we just gotta put the hood on it, and I gotta give this thing a good washing because she is dirty. And I ain't kidding. So, if you guys followed along through this whole journey from Power Tour to blowing up to now, thank you. And we sure do appreciate it. And we're trying to build some different content for you guys. You can tell we kind of do the older stuff. But thanks a lot for following along, and we're just excited to have our car back. We still got to do some other stuff with this thing. We just keep not getting to it, but we will. But you guys have a great week. Thank you all. Peace out.